Ooh, 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 ooh.
Go ahead and find a comfortable seat, whatever that means to you. You can have your legs crossed. You can be up on a block or a blanket or just sitting on your mat. While you're sitting here, just check in with those sit bones. See if you can feel rooted down into the ground. Maybe the outer edges of your feet feel connected with the mat. Maybe you find that long spine by pulling up on the center of your head. And check in with your jaw here. Check in with your neck. You can nod your head yes. You can shake your head no. Move your head I don't know. When you're ready to come to stillness, see if you can lower your gaze or close your eyes and just let the day melt away. Anything you have to do after this or anything that happened before this, just kind of let them escape out your brain. And just see if you can focus on perhaps your breath or your shape or your sitting stance. I don't know what the word for stance is when you're sitting. When you're ready, we'll do a couple of inhales together, exhaling out through the mouth. You can either lion's breath out by sticking out your tongue, or you can just flutter out through the lips, whatever you prefer. And just inhale together. 2, 3, 4. Pause at the top. Exhale. We'll do that 2 more times, whatever you chose to do. You can do the same thing again or choose a different action. Go ahead and inhale there. 2, 3, 4. Pause at the top. And exhale. And one more. 2, 3, 4. Pause at the top. And exhale. And return your breath to normal. Keep your eyes closed, and we'll start just by opening, closing the jaw. You can move it from side to side if you'd like, if that's comfortable for you. You can also make circles with your jaw, if that's available to you. Make sure you go in both directions. Micro mini circles, obviously, it's a jaw. Maybe you jet your jaw forward and back. You can come to silence. You're resting there, sorry. Move on to the shoulders. Just go ahead and shrug the shoulders up to the ears and then relax them down. Checking in with your knees, making sure they're relaxing down to the mat. Can you shrug those shoulders up to your ears and relax them down? One more time. And down. From here, can you gently bring one ear to one shoulder by just bending your neck from side to side? Go ahead and come to the other shoulder as well. And leave your shoulders down. You don't need to shrug them up to meet the ear. Just moving back and forth with your neck. A few deep breaths at your own pace here. Letting all the air out with each exhale. When you're ready, we'll gently flutter the eyes open. We'll start by lifting the arms into the air, shrugging those shoulders down, reaching those fingertips in either direction. I know one more. From here, we'll go ahead and bend down to one side, placing that hand on the mat, reaching the other arm over top. Maybe sinking that shoulder down away from the air, but really reaching with that arm. From here, you can bend that arm, supporting arm, and just go ahead and windmill down, around, till you're on the other side. Again, pressing that sit bone down, moving that shoulder away from the ear and finding length in that upper arm. On your next inhale, we'll come back up, bring our arms out to the sides. We'll go ahead and flex those wrists, or you can make fists or keep your fingers up if you'd like. And we're just going to gently rotate the wrists. So we're going to rotate the entire arm, starting at the wrist, our internal and external rotation. So you can keep those arms nice and straight. From here, you can make those fists, curl those arms in. Make those hands big and wide. We'll do crouching cactus arms for a minute, excuse me. We'll take those shoulder blades together, squeeze them nice and tight. Exhale to release them down. We'll make our fists again, drop one arm down, and we'll do our robot bicep curls, bicep motion. You feel like you got about 5 good ones. Come back to your cartoon cactus arms, reach those arms out to the side, give yourself a big hug, one arm over the top. It doesn't matter which one, because we'll be doing both arms. Optional here to walk those fingertips back behind you if you have a little bit more space. See if you can release those shoulders. My shoulders like to eat my ears. See if you can release your shoulders down the back here. On your next inhale, do wide T arms again. Flex those wrists, really feel length in those arms, and we'll come for another hug. Do the opposite arm on top this time. Again, if that's open for you, you can reach to the back. I did the same arm twice. And when you're ready, release those arms to your side, bring them to the front, bring them up above, and we're just gonna gently fold forward, whatever that means to you. You can hinge at the hips. You can round in the back. You can bring your forearms to the ground if you'd like. You can tent your fingers, relax your neck. On your next inhale, we'll walk those fingertips back so we're seated upright. You're gonna move those hands back behind you. And tent your tent your fingers behind you. Your thumb is closest to you, and just shine that chest forward for a nice gentle camel pose. Half a camel pose, a quarter of a camel pose. And when you're ready to come back to center front, you can stretch those legs out in front of you. We'll come into some twists. I know. Bend that one knee in nice and tight. Place that foot on the outside of the thigh. And bring the opposite arm into the air. Hook that elbow around the knee. And twist to the back of the room. 3 good breaths here. Inhaling, making your spine nice and long. Exhaling and wringing out that midsection like a towel. And on your next exhale, you can make a nice little counter twist to the other side. When you come back to center, you can switch the crossing of your legs. Again, pull that thigh in nice and tight, and we'll hook the opposite arm or elbow over the knees. Go ahead and wring out that midsection, twisting to the back of the room on your exhale. Inhaling, nice long spine. When you're ready, we'll come to a nice little counter twist to the other side. Give your knees a little shake out, and we'll come to a tabletop at the front of the bed. Coming into a nice neutral spine here. Starting with just tucking and tilting your tailbone. Just love the alliteration. See if you can tilt your tailbone, tuck your tailbone without moving the rest of your body. Just isolating the movement there. And on your next pelvic tilt, go ahead and put the whole body into your cow pose. Shining that chest forward, lifting that head into the air, really dropping the udder down. Imagine a cow's hip bones. See if you can imagine your hip bones really sticking out from behind you. Breathing here. On your next big exhale, start the movement by tilting that tailbone under, round in the spine, and come into your cat pose. Option to come up on your fingertips here or your tucked toes. Either's fine. Really arching in the back, feeling that cat pose, feeling like a cat on a fence. Breathing here. And when you're ready on your next inhale, you can go into your cow pose and exhale into your cat pose. Inhaling into your cow and exhaling into your cat. You can continue this movement at your own breath and your own pace, connecting your breath to your movement and just waking up that spine, finding movement and space between the vertebrae. Had enough of that, you can add S and C curves into the spine if you'd like. You can come down to a little child's pose, maybe come forward to a baby chaturanga. Just waking up the body here. Thank you, Clementine. When you're ready to come back to stillness, we'll come into our tabletop twist by lifting that left arm into the air, twisting from that midsection. Keeping those knees firmly on the ground. Breathing here. Exhaling, tucking that shoulder under, reaching it across. You can move that leg and arm forward if you'd like. On your next exhale, we'll come back to our twist. and then back down to the mat. Go ahead and bring that other arm into the air, twisting from the midsection. Exhaling, tucking that under, threading that arm through. Optional to bring your opposite arm and leg out in either direction. Your next exhale, bring your hand and knee back. We'll reach back into our twist and come back down to all fours. Come into a neutral spine here, and we'll come into our hip stretches and hip exercises. We'll start by bringing that left leg into the air at a 90-degree angle here. See if you can keep those hips nice and square here. See if you can keep that ankle flexed. And on your next exhale, we're going to try to keep this exact shape in the leg and just touch that knee and toe to the ground. Inhaling your leg into the air and exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. And exhaling down. Inhaling up. And exhaling down. One more like that. Inhaling up. Do a little flex and point of your foot if you'd like. Maybe a little roll through the ankle. And you can bring your knee back down to the mat. From here, we'll come to the other side. Bringing that knee into the air. Nice right angle. Nice flexed ankle here. Breathing. And your next exhale will keep the shape in the leg. Bring the toe and knee to the mat. Inhaling into the air. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. And exhaling back down. Give your hips a little shake out here if you like. Oh, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to. And when you're ready, we'll take our left knee towards the nose. You can pull that belly button towards the spine. You can fold in half here. You can release that neck down. Your next exhale, bring that knee back down. Sorry. Inhale here. And then exhale that knee forward. Inhale back down. Exhale your knee forward. Inhale back down. Exhale forward. Inhaling down. Exhaling forward and inhaling back down. Other side, we'll lift that knee towards the nose. Folding the midsection, releasing the neck down. Breathing here. Exhaling, lowering that knee down. Take a nice big inhale here. On your next exhale, bring that knee up. And inhale back down. Exhaling up. And inhaling down. Exhaling up. And inhaling down. Exhaling up. And inhaling down. One more like that. Exhaling up. And inhaling down. Give your hips a little shake out here. On to our last one, fire hydrants. By lifting that left leg to the side, feeling nice and square in those hips, like you're making a right angle. And lower that knee down on your exhale. We'll inhale that leg into the air and exhale back down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Inhaling up and exhaling back down. Other side, we'll lift that knee into the air at a right angle. Breathing here. On your next exhale, you can bring that knee back down. Inhale to lift to the side. Exhale back down. Inhaling to lift. Exhaling down. Inhaling to lift. Exhaling down. Inhaling to lift. And exhaling back down. One more, inhaling to lift and exhaling back down to the mat. Excuse me, I just found one of my earrings on the ground. Okay. Back in our tabletop, you can give your hips a little tilt and a little tuck if you'd like. When you're ready, you can tuck those back toes under and lift the knees into the air for downward facing dog. You can pedal out the feet in down dog. Your feet can be as wide or as narrow as you'd like. When you're ready, we'll inhale the heels into the air nice and high, and then exhale to drag them back to the mat. Going back to that cow pose and imagining those hip bones of those cows sticking out into the air. Can you imagine your hip bones sticking out, maybe facing the front of the room? Yes. Exhaling all your air out here. Taking a nice big inhale. We'll exhale, roll forward to plank pose. If you feel like you're arching too much in plank, you can always tilt those hips down. On your next exhale, we'll press back to downward facing dog. Inhaling those heels into the sky, exhaling them back down to the mat. Lifting that right leg into the air, three-legged dog, keeping those hips nice and square. On your next exhale, we'll roll forward to three-legged plank. From here, you can lift three little leg lifts here if you'd like. And we'll exhale back to three-legged dog. From here, you can open your hips up. You can bend that knee. You can feel that heel pulling toward your bum. You can drop that leg back, lift the other arm in the air for rock star pose. Let's do 3 to 5 good breaths wherever you are. On your next exhale, we'll bring that leg down, back down to downward facing dog. We're gonna roll forward for our plank pose. And exhale back to down dog. Lifting that opposite leg in the air, three-legged dog. Pulling that heel to the ground of your supportive leg. Keeping those hips square, we'll roll forward to plank. You can do 3 little leg lifts here. And then we'll exhale to push back into three-legged dog. From here, you can bend that knee, feel that heel pull towards the bum, open up the hips here. From here, you can drop back into rock star pose. 3 to 5 good breaths for every spot. On your next exhale, you can bring that foot back down to the mat, rolling forward to our plank pose, and exhaling to push back to downward facing dog. On your next exhale, you can hop, or step forward. Doing a forward fold at the front of the mat. This is your first forward fold. You can fold as deeply or shallowly as you'd like. Your knees can be bent here, your legs can be straight. Just feel like both halves of your body are pulling into the ground. The top half via the skull, the bottom half via the legs. Your next inhale, you can place each hand on a shin and come into a nice long flat back. Maybe here you're shining that chest forward. Maybe you're imagining that cow spine in your back. Take a nice big inhale. And on your exhale, roll back forward into your forward fold and see if you can't make it a little bit more deeper this time. In your forward fold, you can gently sway back and forth if you'd like. Maybe find some looseness in your hips. When you're ready, we'll slowly roll up to standing pose. Ooh. All right, I'm gonna take a drink of water. Excuse me one moment. Standing in mom pose at the front of your mat. Check in with all four corners of your feet. Feel like you're pressing the feet into the ground. Pushing down with your feet and pulling up with your skull. Maybe your fingers are active by spreading them out. Excuse me so much. On your next inhale, we'll lift the arms in the air for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant your hands, step back, plank pose. Lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat, inhaling for a low cobra or upward facing dog, and exhaling back to down dog. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward to your forward fold at the front of the mat. Your next inhale, you can place your hands on your shins, nice long flat back, and exhale to fold forward. Inhaling to gently roll up to stand, placing each vertebrae on top of the previous one. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat, let's inhale the arms into the air for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, folding forward. Inhaling, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant your hands, step back, plank pose. Lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra, upward facing dog, and pressing back to down dog. Deep breath here. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward. So you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. On your next inhale, you can place your hands on your shins for a nice long flat back. Exhale to fold forward and inhale to gently roll up to stand. On your next inhale, we'll lift the arms in the air, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, folding forward, plant your hands, step back, plank pose. Lowering your knees, chest and chin to the mat, inhaling for a low cobra or upward facing dog, and pressing back to down dog. Deep breath here. Your next exhale, you can hop or step forward to a forward fold at the front of the mat. On your next inhale, you can place your hands on your shins for a nice long flat back. Exhale to fold forward. And inhale to gently roll up to stand, placing each vertebrae on top of the previous. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat, we'll lift the arms for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, plank pose. Lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra and pressing back for downward facing dog. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward. So you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. On your next inhale, we'll lift the hands to the shins for a nice long flat back. Exhaling to fold forward. And inhaling to gently roll up to stand. All right. One more? Feels like one more. All right. Whew. Inhale, arms above head, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, folding forward, Utkatasana, Uttanasana. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale to fold forward, plant your hands, step back to plank pose. Lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra, and exhale to press back to downward facing dog. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward, so you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale to fold forward. And inhale to gently roll up to stand. Woo. All right. We have a glass of water before we start our flow. We're doing great. Back in Urdhva Hastasana. Back in mountain pose. Checking in with all four corners of our feet. We're going to inhale the arms above the head for Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale. Oh, no. And exhale, bend the knees coming into chair pose. Utkatasana. See if you can lower your butt as much as possible. Feel that what am I doing? Cat spine in your low spine and your cow spine in your chest. Nice deep breath here until exhale to fold forward. Plant your hands, step back, plank pose. Go ahead and lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat, inhaling for a low cobra and pressing back. Downward facing dog. On your next inhale, we'll lift the right leg into the air, three-legged dog. Bend the knee, feel that heel come towards the bum, open up the hips. We'll then swing that leg forward, help it if you need to. Coming into a nice sturdy low lunge here, we'll rotate that back heel down. Feel that outer edge of that back foot glued to the ground. Inhaling the arms up for warrior one. Do not. On your next exhale, we'll bring the hands behind you, interlace your fingers back behind you, and come down for humble warrior. On your next inhale, release your arms, bring them into the air. Go ahead and frame that front foot, take that front foot back to meet the back. And we'll come into our downward facing dog. Rolling forward to plank, lowering your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra and exhaling to press back to downward facing dog. Hello. Thank you. On your next inhale, we'll lift the left leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee, bring that heel towards the bum. We'll bring that leg forward, help it if you need to. We'll come into our nice sturdy low lunge on the left side. Take that opposite leg down to a 45-degree angle. Glue that outer edge of that back foot to the mat. Have a nice right angle in this front knee and to come into a warrior one. Breathing here. Your next exhale, we'll go ahead and interlace the hands behind the back. Weird thumb on top this time. Come into our humble warrior. Your next inhale, we'll come back to warrior one. Exhale to frame that front foot. Push that front foot back to meet the back, downward facing dog. Rolling forward to plank, lowering your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra. And exhaling back for downward facing dog. 3 breaths in down dog or child's pose, whichever's most restful for you. Hey, go. Leave it. Leave it. On your next exhale, we're going to make our way back to the front of the mat. You can hop or step until you're in forward fold at the front of the mat. On your next inhale, we'll gently roll up to stay. All right, loosen your hips. Take out your knees. Make sure all 4 corners of the feet are rooted into the mat. Inhale those arms into the air, and we'll come into our chair pose. Breathing here in chair. Take a nice deep breath in. Oh, I'm gonna fall backwards. Take a nice deep breath in, and then exhale to fold forward. Plant your hands, step back, plank pose. Go ahead and go into your vinyasa, lowering your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra or upward facing dog. Pressing back into down dog. We'll lift that right leg into the air, 3-legged dog. Exhale, bend that knee, pull that heel towards the bum, open those hips up. When you're ready, we'll swing that foot forward, help it if you need to. Rotate that back heel down, and we'll come into our warrior one. Exhale down to humble warrior. Inhale out to warrior two. Come forward and then back to reverse your warrior. Give that knee a rest and we'll come down into triangle pose. And your next inhale, we'll come back to warrior two. And then exhale down to side angle pose. From here, we'll rotate those arms down to frame that front foot. Kick that front foot back to meet the back for downward facing dog. Rolling forward to plank pose. Lowering your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra. And exhaling back to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, we'll lift that left leg into the air, three-legged dog. Bend that knee, pull that heel towards the bum. And swing that foot forward, help it if you need to. And come into your nice, sturdy, low lunge. Rotating that back heel down, moving that outer edge of the foot to the mat. We're going to inhale the arms up for warrior one. You're going to exhale down, weird thumb on top for humble warrior. Inhaling up for warrior one. Exhaling out for warrior two. Forward and back to reverse your warrior. Give that knee a rest and we'll come into triangle pose. And your next inhale, come into warrior two. We'll exhale down to side angle. On your next exhale, you can frame that front foot, kick that front foot back to meet the back, downward facing dog. Rolling forward to plank, lowering your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra, upward facing dog. And exhaling back to down dog. 3 breaths in down dog or child's pose. And on your next exhale, you can hop or step forward to a forward fold at the front of the mat. And on your next exhale, go ahead and gently roll up to stand. All right. Okay, cool. I need a drink of water. All right, sitting in mountain pose in the front of your mat. Optional to heel toe those feet together for our chair pose twist. Go ahead and inhale your arms in the air for rest. And when you're ready, bend the knees, lower the bum down, and bring your hands to heart center. From here, we'll hook one elbow around your knee and come into your chair pose twist. On your next inhale, we're going to come back to our chair pose. And exhale, twist to the other side. On your next inhale, we'll come back to our chair pose and exhale to fold forward. Plant your hand and you step back to, downward facing dog, rolling forward to plank and going through your vinyasa. Lowering your knees, chest and chin to the mat, inhaling for low cobra, and pressing back to downward facing. On your next inhale, we'll lift that right leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend that knee, open up the hips. This time we'll swing that foot forward, help it if you need to. We'll come into our nice sturdy low lunge by rotating that back heel down and lifting your arms up for warrior one. Exhaling down to humble warrior. Inhaling up for warrior one. Exhaling out for warrior two. Ready, I'll do it. Inhaling forward and then back to reverse your warrior. Now, giving that knee a break and coming into triangle pose. On your next inhale, we're coming, no. You're coming to side angle pose. Okay. From here, we're gonna windmill the arms down and come into our wide-legged forward fold. From here, we're just gonna lightly bend the knees. We're just gonna move the hips back and forth. Can come up on your fingertips here if that makes you more comfortable. You can even try making a figure 8 with your hips if you'd like. That's available to you. And when you're ready, we're going to gently walk our fingers over to that front of the mat. Kick that front foot back to meet the back, coming into downward facing dog. Rolling forward to plank, running through your vinyasa. And pressing back to downward facing dog. Breathing in down dog. On your next inhale, lift that left leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee, swing that foot forward, help it if you need to. We're gonna come into our warrior one. Rotate that back heel down, lift the arms into the air. Exhale, weird thumb on top for humble warrior. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale out to warrior two. Inhale forward and back to reverse your warrior. On your next inhale, we'll go ahead and give that knee a rest. Exhale forward and down to come into triangle pose. And your next inhale will come into our side angle pose. From here, you can windmill those legs down, or those arms down again and come into your wide-legged forward fold. This time, we're just going to remain in stillness at the center. If you'd like to get a little deeper into this fold, you can always walk your fingertips back. Actually feel an intense feeling in the outer edges of my calf muscles when I walk my fingertips back. When you're ready, we'll walk over to that front foot again. Take that front foot back to meet the back, downward facing dog. Rolling forward to plank, lowering your knees, chest and chin to the mat, inhaling for a low cobra and coming into your vinyasa. Exhaling into downward facing dog. 3 breaths in down dog. On your next exhale, you can hop or step forward, turn a forward fold at the front of the mat. On your next inhale, we'll gently roll up to stand, placing each vertebrae on top of the previous. Anyway, time for 2 more. Okay. So let's stand in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Inhale those arms into the air. Exhale down into your chair pose. Nice deep inhale here. Exhale down to fold forward. Plant the hands, step back to your plank pose. Lowering your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale into down dog. Take a nice deep breath here. We'll lift that right leg into the air, 3-legged dog. Exhale, bend that knee, open up the hips, and swing that foot forward. Help it if you need to. Rotate that back heel down. We'll come into our warrior one pose. Exhale down to your humble warrior. Inhale up to warrior one. Exhale out to warrior two. Inhale forward and back to humble your warrior. Give that knee a rest and come into triangle pose. On your next exhale, we'll bend that knee again and come into side angle pose. From here, let's rotate those hands down to your wide-legged forward fold. This time, bend one knee. Just kind of, you can bend it as deeply or as shallowly as you'd like. You can bend it just a little bit and kind of walk your hands over there. That's fine. You can bend it all the way and place your weight on that side. That's fine too. For a half squat. On your next exhale, we'll press back into our wide-legged forward fold. Walk your fingertips around to the front of the mat. We'll kick that front foot back to meet the back, downward facing dog. On your next exhale, you can roll forward to plank, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra or upward facing dog, and exhale into a down dog. On your next inhale, we'll lift that left leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend that knee, feel that heel come towards the bum. We'll swing that foot forward, help it if you need to. Rotate that back heel down. Bring that knee forward and come into your nice sturdy low lunge. We'll bring those arms into the air for a warrior one. Exhale down to reverse your warrior. Inhale up for warrior one. Exhale out for warrior two. Inhale forward and back to reverse your warrior. Exhale to bend the straighten that knee and come into triangle pose. From here, we'll come into our side angle pose. And when you're ready, you can rotate your arms down and come into that wide-legged forward fold. We'll bend the opposite knee this time. Again, you can bend it a little bit or a lot, whatever you prefer. And come all the way into your side squat if you'd like. When you're ready, we'll push that bum back up into the air. Go ahead and walk around to the front of the mat. Keep that front foot back to meet the back. Downward facing dog. We'll roll forward to plank. Lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra or upward facing dog. And press back to down dog. Take a few breaths here. On your next exhale, we'll hop or step forward through a forward fold at the front of the mat. When you're ready, you can gently roll up to stand. And you can kick your legs out. Get a drink of water, give your hips a little shake out. All right. From here, standing at the front of the mat, I want to go into balancing poses. So you can, of course, come into your tree pose. You can, if you want, just lift one leg into the air. For some reason, I find that really challenging. So I'm going to go with that. You can always hold in that low belly, or imagine your belly button really pulling back into your spine to hold these abs for for stability. And if you fall out of it, no big deal, just come right back in. When you're ready, maybe straighten that leg out front, maybe lift a little high, a little higher, and then let it down. So go ahead and give a rub to that outside muscle on that standing leg if you'd like. And we'll come into our balancing pose on the other side. All four corners of the foot hitting the mat, lifting that opposite leg up. Holding in that low belly for stability. Staring at a point that doesn't move in front of you. And you can release that, release that leg. You can lift it into the air. You can lift a little higher, maybe a little higher, and then release it down. So you want to give you a rub on the outside of the leg. You're gonna come back to mountain pose at the front of the mat. Again, checking in with the four corners of the feet. Really pushing down into the mat. Maybe lifting the arches of the feet up into the air. We're gonna lift the arms into the sky. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant your hands and step back to plank pose. Lower your knees, chest and chin here. Inhale for a low cobra, upward facing dog. And exhale back to downward facing. On your next inhale, we're going to lift the right leg into the air for three-legged dog. Exhale, bend that knee, open up the hips. From here, we're going to slide that shin forward and set yourself up for pigeon pose. Make sure that back leg is nice and straight behind you. Give yourself any props you may need. Lift that chest into the sky. Fold down for pigeon pose. On your next inhale, you can lift your head, neck, and chest into the air. And maneuver yourself into a tabletop pose. Maybe tuck your toes here and press your hips into the sky. Option for a vinyasa here. If you want to roll forward to plank, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra or upward facing dog and press back to down dog. On your next inhale, we're going to lift that left leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend that knee, bring that foot towards the bum. On your next exhale, we're going to swing that shin forward. Make sure your leg is nice and straight back behind you. Lift that chest into the air and then ooze back down onto the mat. On your next inhale, you can lift your head, neck, and chest off the mat. Then maneuver yourself into a tabletop. Tuck those back toes under and lift yourself up into a downward facing dog. Last vinyasa, as always, they are optional. You can roll towards your plank, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for low cobra and exhale, pressing back to downward facing dog. When you're ready, we're just gonna come to the mat on our bellies. And then you can bring either cheek to the mat if you'd like. We're gonna start just by bending one leg, then the other. Actually, really hurts. We're gonna release both legs down and just bend one leg. We'll start with the right. It doesn't matter. And just reach back forward if you'd like. Again, we're doing a quad stretch, so if you feel like this is not a deep enough stretch, you can always lift the knee off the mat, maybe a half inch, maybe a quarter of an inch. Release your foot, bend the other foot in. Go ahead and grab it with your hand. Lifting that knee off the mat, maybe a millimeter or two. Release your foot, give your feet a little kick back and forth. Give your hips a little shake out. And when you're ready, we'll go ahead and roll onto our backs. And bend your knees and you can gently windshield wiper out your legs here. You can bend your knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice hug. Maybe rotate back and forth. Maybe make your knees in a circle for a nice low back massage. From here, I want to come into a reverse tabletop. So go ahead and bring those knees into a nice right angle, flexing those feet. Ooh, that's not a right angle. There we go. Flexing those ankles. You can hold your low belly with your hands for stability if you would like. You can also tilt this pelvis so you may feel less of a gap between your back and the mat. For stability, you can hold onto your belly here or the sides of the mat or place your hands to the ground. For an added challenge, if you'd like, you could always pump your arms. Not necessary. And we're going to start just like we did in our tabletop by bringing our entire right angled knee, just tapping those toes onto the mat and lifting the leg back into the air. Other side. Keeping a nice right angle in your leg. Watch my video because I'm not doing that. Tapping that toe down to the mat. And when you're ready to finish that, you go ahead and hug those knees into the chest again. And we'll come back to our reverse tabletop. This time I want you to point one leg out to a 45-degree angle. And we'll bring that back to our 90 degrees. About to a 45-degree angle, then back to our right angled knee. 45-degree angle, just switching legs back and forth. Again, this movement can be more smooth than the other one. Maybe you feel like you're almost riding a bicycle. We'll hug the knees into the chest again. Give yourself a nice little low back massage and rock back and forth. When you're ready, we're gonna lift both legs into the air at a 90-degree angle. You can straighten those knees, you can flex those feet. And we'll just start by dropping one leg down and inhaling it back up. Dropping the other leg down, inhaling back up. Imagine your front abs are twisting back into the back. No, wrapping around your body, not just. And then when you're ready, we'll go ahead and hug both knees into the chest again. This time we'll stick the legs out again at a 90-degree angle, nice straight legs. We'll drop one down and then make a big circle with both legs. That makes sense. Until the opposite one's on top and the opposite one's on the bottom. We're gonna crisscross the legs in the sky and then twist back to the other way. Crisscross, twist back to the other way. Crisscross, twist back to the other way. One more. And then hug those knees into your chest nice and tight. We'll drop them down. Windshield wiper out your knees. And when you're ready, we'll come into our active bridges. So we're gonna start just by tilting that pelvis up and tucking it back, tilting it up and tucking it back. On your next tilt up in the air, lift that entire body into the sky and drop it back down. Exaggerating your tilt, tuck, your tuck. Tilt that pelvis in the air, lift that entire chest into the sky. Exhale back down. Do two more like that, lifting the hips into the air and then bringing them back down. One more, lifting them in the air and bringing them back down to the mat. And windshield wiper out your knees here if you'd like. And we'll come into 3 active bridges or a supported bridge, whichever you prefer. Coming into your active bridges, we'll lift the hips into the air. You can wiggle those shoulder blades underneath you. You can interlace your hands back behind your back. And take 3 to 5 good breaths in your bridge pose. And release your hands, release your arms, release your spine back down to the mat. And windshield wiper out your legs again. You're ready to come to stillness. You can lift those hips into the air. Wiggle those shoulder blades underneath you. Interlace your fingers back behind your back if you'd like. Have 3 to 5 good breaths here. Release your arms, release your back down to the mat. Give your knees a little windshield wiper back and forth. And when you're ready, you come into your final active bridge. Reaching those shoulder blades underneath you, interlacing those fingers back behind you if you'd like. Release your hands, release your shoulder blades, release your spine back down to the mat. Go ahead and windshield wiper out your legs back and forth. When you're ready, we'll come into a gentle inversion, whatever that means to you. You can just lift your legs into the air. You can place your sacrum on a block. You can have your legs up against the wall. You can come into a supported shoulder stand and really lift your body up with your arms. If you're in a supportive pose, you can play with externally and internally rotating your legs like we did with our arms. Starting that movement from the ankle, but moving that whole leg internally and externally, rotating those thigh bones in the socket. When you've had enough of your inversions, you can come back down to the mat, remove any props you may have. Maybe you want to give yourself a little windshield wiper with your knees. Maybe you want to hug your legs into your chest. Go ahead and everybody hug the right leg into your chest. We're going to place that right ankle on the left knee. Lift that left knee into the air. If you're happy here, you can stay, you're fine. Just make sure you're flexing both feet. If you'd like a little bit more of a stretch, you can always interlace those hands behind your raised thigh and press that knee away from you with your elbow. If you're happy here, you can stay. If you're still looking for a spot to stretch, you can always gently rock back and forth to find a spot that's maybe a little bit more stuck or a little bit more sore. Release your hands from your legs. You can switch the crossing of your legs and lift that other thigh into the air. Again, making sure you flex both ankles here. You can interlace your hands behind your thigh and press that knee away from you with your elbow if you'd like. And rock back and forth, trying to find a spot that's maybe a little bit more sore stuff. Release your hands, release your legs to the mat. Windshield wiper out your knees or hug your legs into your body, whatever you prefer. And when you're ready, we'll hug both knees into the chest nice and tight. And then drop them over to one side. Once you've done so, you can really feel that twist in your midsection, like bringing out that towel. We'll do 5 side crunches, just lifting that chest up into the air and then coming back down. Lifting that chest up and coming back down. Don't strain to move that chin, just the chest. 2 more like that. 1 more. And relaxing back down to your twist. From here, your arms can be stretched out to either side. They can be cartoon cactus arms. You can place one hand on your knees and place the other one out. Your gaze can be toward the ceiling or towards the opposite shoulder. Gaze towards the opposite shoulder can get quite intense. You can always move it back to the ceiling. On your next inhale, you can lift the knees into the air. Maybe give them a nice hug into your chest. Maybe rock back and forth here. And when you're ready, you can drop them onto the other side. Again, once you feel that nice twist in your midsection, that great ring out, we can do 5 of these twisted crunches. So go ahead and lift that chest into the air for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And when you're done with that, you can reach your arms out to the sides. You can do cartoon cactus arms. You can always place a hand on your leg and stretch the other arm out. Your gaze can be towards the ceiling or over the opposite shoulder. Gaze over the opposite shoulder can get a little intense. You can always come back to the ceiling. On your next inhale, you can bring your knees back into your chest. Give yourself a nice little hug, maybe a rock back and forth. From here, you can reach to your inner soles of your feet and come into a happy baby. You can rock back and forth. You can practice stretching out each foot one at a time. You can work on pressing those knees into your armpits. Well. You can release your feet back down to the mat. Maybe give your knees a little shake out again. We're gonna bring the soles of the feet together. Release the knees out to the side for Supta Baddha Konasana or reclined goddess pose. Your feet can be as close to your body or as far out as is comfortable for you. And if you have blocks, you can always place them under your knees to support. Shh. Trevi, no. Place your hands under your thighs for support if you'd like as well. When you're ready, you can ever so gently use your hands to press your legs back together. And you can go ahead and release your legs out and come into your final resting pose. Begin to bring your awareness back to your breath. You start with small movements in your fingers and toes. When you're ready, you can turn onto one side. Using your arm as a pillow and take a breath in the fetal position. Using that same slow quality of movement, you come up to a seated position. And we'll close with one Om. You can bring your hands to heart center. Thank you for joining me today. Thank yourself for doing something for your body. Inhaling for Om. Oh.